To make our table more semantic, HTML provides us 4 table elements. The ones we have discussed already are the structural table tags, and the ones that we are going to be discussing in this video are the semantic table tags. And these are t-head, t-body, t-foot, and caption. In addition to these elements, we'll also be discussing an important table attribute named summary. Although without any of these tags, our table would be complete and would render flawless in the browser. But what these tags do is that they not only make our code more meaningful for search engines, more readable for those who see our HTML code, and more accessible to screen readers. And we should really take it seriously to make our table as accessible as possible for screen readers, because navigating a table using an assistive device can really get hard. Let's have a look at a sample table and then create it alongside. This is the opening and closing tag of the table, and let's create this table that we are watching at our right. We see that the table has 4 rows, and the first row clearly seems some sort of heading. Further, this heading row contains 2 table cells, code of which would be this: the opening and closing tr tag for creating the row, and to create 2 heading cells that contain physics and chemistry, there would be 2 th elements. The next 3 rows are pretty similar and contain just numerical information. So we would create 3 rows, and each of those rows would contain 2 td elements to contain the numbers. And that's it. This completes our table if we don't want it to be semantic and just get rid of coding by building only the table structure. But if we want to spend those extra few minutes making our code more semantic, I promise these few minutes would definitely be paying you back. And these are the little things that differentiate an average designer from a great designer. So if one becomes interested in adding semantic to the tables, here's how we'll do that. We see that the table has a heading, and to make the heading content more semantic, HTML recommends us enclosing the heading contents inside the t-head element. Likewise, the t-body element would contain the rest of the table body. But wait a minute, why I haven't included the last row of the table inside the t-body element? This is because I am the one who has created the table and am familiar with its contents, and therefore I know that the last row of table is the average value of the physics and chemistry columns. And to indicate that the last row of the table contains some sort of average or summary, if you will, we wrap that row inside the t-foot element. And then there's an additional element named caption, which allows us to add some sort of description of what the table is about. I know that the table contains the average, but should I leave every visitor to keep guessing what the table is about? Or is it a good idea to place a caption at the top of table that tells what the table is about? The description is wrapped inside the caption element, and no matter whether we place caption in the beginning of the table or at the end, like we have done here, it appears at the top of the table by default. And needless to say, if we want it to appear at the bottom instead, we can always do that using CSS. And there's one more thing about the tables that I want you to know, and that is the summary attribute. There's been a lot of debate over the summary attribute because for whatever reason, it has been removed from HTML5 specification. And there's no clear alternative as to what you're supposed to do. Summary is something you cannot see, but what it is that it is some kind of nice description of the table's contents, and although it's not in the HTML specification anymore, still I highly recommend that you use it, because first, that it would be of huge assistance to disabled users plus search engines, and second, that it's going to have browser support for the foreseeable future. And this wraps up our video regarding the table semantics. Thanks for watching.